Hi, so I'm Alicia Gray, and I'm going to talk a little bit about my behavior change project. So my client, I named them Jackson. Jackson is a 6-year-old boy with a diagnosis of autism. He has actually been receiving services for 3 years now, 3 full years. And he received one-on-one ABA therapy for 40 hours a week since the age of 3. Since September of 2015, he's actually transitioned into a school system where he attends a kindergarten classroom 5 days a week in the morning, but now receives ABA therapy for 5 days just in the afternoon. So his ABA time has been cut in half. Jackson has a lot of skills with communication, tacting, visual perceptual, imitation, reading, and writing. The deficits that Jackson actually has is in terms of social skills with peers and being able to occupy his time in an appropriate manner, like independent play, for example. Jackson exhibits stereotypic behaviors during periods of time when there is no demands present. And the stereotypic behaviors are interfering with acquisition of independent play skills and the social skills that you build with peers. The stereotypic behaviors have not been an issue in previous years, but are now hindering the progress in terms of socializing and occupying his time appropriately. And the behaviors are typically seen during the free time play versus at table time when he's learning lessons. Just to give you a little bit of a better definition here, the behavioral definition for Jackson is when Jackson's behavior, is called stereotypic stimming behavior with inappropriate objects. This includes spinning, twirling, or tapping on any object that is not designed to be spun. Some examples of that would include stimming with books, laminated index cards, laminated pictures, boxes, toys, or parts of toys. Non-examples would include if you were to spin a ball, spinning tops like the toys, spinning blades on a helicopter, or like a plane propeller. In terms of data collection, and due to the nature of the behavior, interval data was used to measure the occurrence of the behavior. Specifically, partial interval data was utilized to collect the data. And since the behavior happens during the free time play, we set up 30-second intervals for that 10-minute period. Typically, the free time play is about 10 minutes. And the therapist record a plus if the behavior was shown with an appropriate item or no behavior at all, and a minus if the behavior was shown with an inappropriate item. In terms of the experimental design, we utilized a single subject reversal ABAB design that was used for this study. Data was collected for 5 sessions for the initial baseline phase, which was then followed by the first intervention phase. Intervention was collected for 5 sessions, and the data was stable, so we were able to reverse back to baseline, which was conducted and data was collected for 5 sessions, and then we returned back to the intervention for an additional 5 sessions. In terms of the results, during the initial baseline, Jackson exhibited behaviors with an inappropriate item for 95% of the time, and the range was about 93% to 100% of the time that he was engaging in the target behavior. During the treatment phase, we used replacement with an ID card that was going to be deemed as an appropriate item that he could stim with. During this phase, the behaviors were shown in the behaviors were shown to drastically decrease, and during this phase, behaviors were shown at 4% of the time with a range of 0% to 10%. So that's a drastic decrease. During reversal or removal of the intervention, the percentage of time that Jackson engaged in the behavior with the inappropriate item was increased to 77, with a range of 73% to 80%. So it wasn't back up to the percentages for the initial baseline, but it did drastically increase again when we went back to baseline. And then this phase, we went back again upon reintroduction of treatment intervention, and the percentages decreased to 3%. So overall, our intervention was very successful for him. And at this point, moving forward, we need to help him identify times where it's appropriate to begin engaging in the behavior versus times when it's inappropriate, as well as building his play skills now that the behavior is decreased. He needs to increase his play skills and his social skills. So thanks for listening. I'm excited to see what you guys have to say about it. Thanks.